Well, today marks the final of 6 days of hearings before the United States Trade Representative in Washington, D.C. Witnesses are commenting on the administration's proposed $200 billion in tariffs against Chinese goods. And RFD-TV's Sarah Mock now joins us live. Sarah?
Good morning, Janet. Well, on what's shaping up to be a truly historic morning for ag trade news here in Washington, we're hearing the last couple of hours of testimony before the U.S. Trade Representative on these additional $200 billion in tariffs that are expected to go into effect against China later this year. Now, of course, we've seen most of the major ag groups sit this round of testimony out just because they haven't been directly impacted. We have seen a number of farmers from many industries across the country add their voices to the discussion. One that might surprise you, especially taking a line that's not quite the trade, not tariffs line that we've heard prominently in the ag industry. We did hear from a farmer, Kenneth Christopher, out of Christopher Ranch in Gilroy, California, a leading national garlic producer here in the United States, actually applauded the administration's efforts to put Chinese garlic on those tariff lists. He says that dumping by Chinese garlic producers has been a primary cause of a 75% decline in garlic producers in the U.S. over the last 3 decades. He went on to say, quote, that the Chinese have a wide range of fraudulent duty evasion schemes to annually enter millions of pounds of garlic at steeply dumped prices. That's below the cost of production. He went on to say that U.S. importers of Chinese garlic have been assessed and billed but failed to pay over $618 million in anti-dumping duties between 2001 and 2017. And so he vehemently applauded the administration's efforts to put in that additional 25% tariff on Chinese garlic, and encouraged, along with the American honey producers and some U.S. mushroom growers, encouraging the U.S. Trade Representative to protect their industries from dumping activities by the Chinese. Of course, we're waiting to hear a little bit of news later today about the USDA aid package. And of course, this NAFTA news that's coming out of the White House as we speak. We'll be watching all of that closely from here in Washington. But until our next update, back to you, Janet.
Thanks again, Sarah. Well, more than 6,000 items made the proposed list of Chinese items to be hit with an additional 10% tariff published by the U.S. Trade Representative back in July. Well, meteorologist Tim